Man, what is this guy so upset about? He thinks I'm some kind of cheater. Oh, hold on. Let me check the. Oh yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, I can see why he thinks that. Hello, I am Aoyolaipe, and I like to hop into top tier matches in War Thunder and then personally kill the entire enemy team by myself. Welcome to my channel. Merry Christmas, everybody! And in light of the holiday spirit, I'm going to show you the single biggest kill streak with a Fox 3 jet ever in War Thunder. Santa came a few days early this year, and you're all getting spam rams. This is also the world record jet kill streak if you exclude the pre-nerf Belgian F16A, but I already broke that record like a month or two ago, so I figured I'd just build this one as the Fox 3 world record to avoid redundancy, but I guess it's both. So, a few weeks ago, I got into an argument with my friend Roach God about which plane would be better at breaking the world record jet kill streak. Now, Roach God had the world record before I, took it from him, so obviously this is, the sort of stuff we talk about. Now, Roach God insisted it would be the JAS 39A Griffin in the Swedish tech tree, but I knew he was wrong. Obviously, it would be the F4 Ice, given the recent tweaks to this plane. So I told Roach God, no, you're wrong, and then Roach God was like, no, you're wrong. So I decided the best way to resolve this argument would be for me to hop into the F4 Ice, break the world record again, and then make fun of my friend on YouTube, which is, that's the video you're watching now. That team over there is about to get absolutely pasted, courtesy of the single most outrageous top-tier killing spree in the entire history of War Thunder. This gets harder every time I do it. Roach God thought this was hilarious. He's a really good sport about this stuff. However, some of the endless people I slaughtered during my record attempts, though, they didn't really appreciate the role in helping me win a pointless argument on the internet. They were what you might call bad sports. And what makes this even more funny is I use streamer mode, which changes my name every match, because otherwise people would dogpile me as soon as they realized I was in their lobby. So I could kind of watch people lose their sanity in real time, because they didn't realize it was actually just one guy with a series of disguises killing them over and over again every match. For example, this guy had a meltdown after 5 or so matches in a row with me, and then he spam reported me for foul language and passive behavior, which is weird because the way I remember it, other people were swearing at me while I was killing their entire teams by myself, and I don't know if that really counts as passive behavior. And the match before this record run you're seeing right here, I was asked to, hey, please leave some kills for us by VPO. That match was only 26-1, so it was nothing crazy. Oh, and before we go any further, I'd like to thank Karn Asudud, or Ashudud, however you pronounce that, and Ducky Andre for super thanksing me. Plus, I'd like to give N7 Warhounds, Digin85, and Weeball 1204 an extra thanks because they gave me like $50, so they get thanked twice. Alright, so what gives? What makes the F4 Ice so good? Well, it's basically the epitome of a glass cannon. This plane has a stupid amount of firepower, which is key for any record run. It's a stupid amount of firepower for its battle rating. However, the downside is that it has very limited survivability, and no survivability whatsoever in close quarters. If anyone manages to get close to you, and you're flying this thing, then you die. But if you are a really, really slippery, sneaky bastard, then you can do a hilarious amount of damage with this thing, and, I am, so I will. So, let's get into the details. This thing is an F4 Phantom. Now, usually the F4 Phantom's main advantage is that they are very fast. They were built as missile trucks, but this thing, it's at 13.0, and by 13.0, it has kind of mess speed. It doesn't really have much of a speed advantage. There's a lot of stuff that can pretty easily chase you down. Also, the airframe is old and sucky. It's an old missile truck, and so it can't win a dogfight. So you can't really outrun people, you can't really outturn people. So if someone gets close to you, then they kill you and you die. It's pretty straightforward. But it has a stupid amount of firepower, so if you somehow manage to use that without letting anyone else get close to you, then that's what you're after. Also, you can't do it by hiding behind a hill like you can with most other planes. And the reason why is the armament. You get 4 AIM-120 spam rams and 4 AIM-9Ms. Okay, well technically you get AIM-9L/Is, which are identical to an AIM-9M except it produces a longer smoke trail. Sim players care about this difference, but if you play arcade or realistic like most people, then this doesn't matter at all. So I will just call these missiles AIM-9Ms for the rest of the video, because that's what they are and what you should think of them. Okay, but wait, why would having AIM-9Ms mean you can't fight at close range? An F-16 with AIM-9Ms is really nasty in close quarters, Aoyolaipe. You've made a million videos on them. And yes, it is all true, But it is also true that A9Ms really don't turn well right off the rack. The key detail you're missing in this analysis here is that the F-16's flight model was gifted to America from Jesus Christ himself, blessed be his name. So an F-16 can easily line up good shots using its flight model and therefore compensate for the A9M's poor short-range performance. Quick side note, happy birthday to Mr. Christ. He is 2,024 years old today, or tomorrow. I'm probably dropping this on Christmas Eve, but I have to have the editing done before I decide anyways, so. Anyways, we're getting off track. The F4F Ice is a frickin' brick. It can't line up a pencil in close quarters. It doesn't turn well in close quarters. Therefore, it cannot compensate for the short-range shortcomings of the AIM-9M. As a result, this thing absolutely, positively cannot fight people at close range. It has no advantages whatsoever. So instead, it all comes down to long-range engagements. AIM-120s have a really long range, and AIM-9Ms can kill someone reliably from up to 6 kilometers away in a head-on. And remember, just because someone can go faster than you doesn't mean they actually are going faster than you. So this is your window in. So what you do is you come in as fast as the F4 Ice's stubby little old flight model could take it. You need to be able to look into a group of players and pick out the ones who have the best energy advantage over you, the best weapons, or are otherwise in the best position to kill you, like they're pointed in the right directions. And then yeah, you pick those guys off first with AIM-120s or with long-range head-on attacks with AIM-9Ms on your way in. Then you empty your missiles into everyone else from the longest range you can. Then you haul ass out of there before they can react. In other words, you basically use your AIM-120s to cover yourself while you go in and pick people off with the AIM-9Ms. And I got several 8x multi-strikes doing that in this plane, but those were in other matches. I believe I got at least one 7x multi-strike in this match. Again, this thing has stupid amounts of firepower. So if you launch attacks this way, then the enemy players, should they survive, will chase you down. But you don't need to be faster than them to escape. You just need to be fast enough and have enough of a head start to reach a safe area. This is Positioning 101, and I have a guide on it. I will link a playlist at the end with that video in it. Crucially, AIM-120s and AIM-9Ms are very reliable ways to kill someone. They're hard missiles to dodge. So if you made a halfway competent attack, then most of the enemy players will be dead. And anyone who was in a good position to chase you should have at least needed to waste a lot of their energy dodging your missile, because you should have figured out they were in a good position to kill you and shot them in the first place to plan ahead. So if you did this well, there shouldn't be that many players chasing you. That means the best way to handle them is to specifically haul ass back to friendly teammates. You can easily set up multiple teammates for a shot on whoever is chasing you. And if you do that, it's like throwing a french fry in front of a flock of seagulls. The french fry will disappear very quickly, and then they can't get you. Quick side note, I saw that there was an F8 coming to kill me because I was paying attention to the match, and I could see that he was trying to dip behind this hill and try to sneak up on me. You probably can't see it now, but it'll be real obvious in about 10 seconds. You have to know where all the enemy players are when you're flying this thing. You need this takes a lot of focus. And I knew when I came over the hill to kill him, you know, counter ambush him. He's trying to be sneaky. I'm sneakier. He would almost certainly be hugging the cliffside. So I aimed my missile there in advance and fired when I got a lock, even though he hadn't been spotted yet. I aimed my missile at where I knew he was going to be. Remember, this missile doesn't turn well off the rack, so if I waited to spot him normally, it probably wouldn't have connected. It just would have been too close. I need to fire from medium range. That means I need to keep track of what everyone is doing, so I can make sure I always have the opportunity to shoot them at medium range if I have to shoot them. So this thing's tricky to fly. Now, you might just be beginning to realize the plot twist with this plane. These characteristics come together to make this plane very, very, very unique in one key way. This thing gets more survivable the flatter the map is. With 99% of top tier planes, if there's terrain to hide behind, then it's easier for you to survive because missiles don't go through mountains. However, the F4 Ice's whole dealio is that offense and defense are kind of the same thing, and it needs to fight at long range to be effective on the offense. That means it needs a long, clear shot to survive. Mountains get in the way of that. So bizarrely, the flatter the map, the more survivable the F4F Ice is, because if it's a flat map, then the enemy team has nowhere to hide from the F4 Ice. So if there's no hills, you don't need to worry about high threat planes being behind a hill. They're out in the open where you can set up a meticulous attack. You'll either kill them outright, usually is what happens, or you'll force them to waste all their energy dodging your attack. Either way, they are essentially neutralized. This map, which has two parallel ridges, that's about as hilly as this thing can handle. Also at this point, I got in chat and started asking my team to, light up a bit on killing enemy players. Since I was so close to breaking the world record, I didn't know how many there were going to be left, and they just started cheering me on. I mean, I think they're just glad I'm on their side, let's be honest. The enemy team, though, is like, they were like, hacks, hacks, and that gets a lot worse. Like, they start to get pretty upset once I break the world record and then start running up the score, and I mean, that's too bad. I don't really know what to say. Don't let me world record your team. But nonetheless, Merry Christmas to my enemies. I am so glad I don't have to fight me. So anyways, I wind up tying the world record right here with this this triple kill. So once I get these guys, the world record is whatever the scoreboard says I have at the moment. Now, a key change to this plane recently is that its battle rating went down to 13.0. That means you can get it into a 12-7 lineup in arcade. And that's key because 12-7 is basically the highest battle rate you can get, where you won't get constantly up tier to face like true max tier jets. And this thing is just food for them. It would not be fun to play this if that was constantly happening to you. Anything with Fox 3s is a dire threat to this thing. You have to kill them first. And now we see how easy it is to die while flying this thing when everyone is gunning for you. An F105 manages to sneak up and ambush me. You'll see it in a few seconds. And he is hell-bent on killing me. If I hadn't already killed all of his better planes, he almost certainly would have gotten me here. And now, this F105 can't directly kill me himself. He can't really kill me himself. But he can definitely get me killed. You see, both of our jets suck at turn fighting. So killing him will take so much time that there is basically a 100% guaranteed chance that one of his teammates will fly up and third-party me. They want me dead. I just world recorded their team. I have a ridiculously massive target on my back, the biggest imaginable, but I just slipped away and escaped from him. How did I do that? Well, what I did was I tried to fake him out, and it worked. You see, I was trying to get him to commit to a turn when I haven't actually committed yet. I've turned, it looks like I'm turning, but I haven't committed to it yet. If I manage to trick him into committing to the turn when I haven't, then I can just slip out of the turn, but he has to waste a lot of time and energy circling all the way around to attack me. That gives me a window to escape. I use that window, and then I shoot down his nearby teammates from medium range, and then fly past my own teammates. If he wants to follow me, it's French fry meat seagull. So if you're flying an F4F Ice, you really need to learn how to be a slippery bastard. And if you do, you'll be really, really scary in this thing. If you don't know how to do that, you'll die very easily to anyone who wants you dead. And yes, that move I pulled against the F105 is essentially what I described many months ago in my guide on temporary turns. That's also in the playlist I'll link at the end of this video, alongside the positioning guide. My guides playlist is really important for this video. I basically use all of the guides even if I don't mention them because I come for time. But still, it's really, really tricky to fly this thing. I have so many 20-something to 1 or 30-something to 1 kill streaks with this plane instead of 20 to 0 or 30 to 0, and that's because you can never really snowball the team enough to face no threats. This thing's flight model is bad enough at this battle rating that you will always have credible threats, and you could never let your guard down. People will be gunning for you, and they can get you. They can always get you until they're all dead or the match is over. And they're really, really, really gonna be gunning for you if you are openly bragging in chat about how you just world recorded their entire team. I am so glad I am not my problem. And you know, that angry guy on the other team said I had no skill, but I never claimed to have skill. I just claimed to world record his team. That's different. Skills are subjective, and it's really up to the viewer to decide who has what skills and who's good or bad, but I did totally world record his team. I have that on video. You can't really argue with that. Oh, and fun fact, you can get this thing, this F4F Ice, into a 12-7 lineup with a MiG-29G, which is, coincidentally, one of the best planes in the game at close-range mountain knife fights. So you can build a really small lineup that completely covers your bases. Like, my standard operating procedure for this jet on a mountain map is I spawn the F4F Ice, do a lot of damage, die, and then just polish off the team with a MiG-29G. A huge reason why I played this plane so much was that I could have such a fun lineup. It's very rare to get a match where you're just like, ugh, when you have an F4F Ice and a MiG-29G in your lineup. Like, yeah, you need a flat map, a lot of players, and preferably a down tier to get a world record with the F4F Ice, but there's no RNG if you're just looking for fun. You're always going to have fun if you have that lineup. I mean, I'm not going to go after a world record if it's not fun, especially if I already have the world record and I'm just trying to run up the score. I play this game for fun. Man, this guy is just losing it in chat. Wow. I mean, wow. Some people really don't take it well when, like, some guy world records their whole team 41 to 0. Man, I guess they'll just have to get over it. Sounds like it sucks for them, I guess. Look, the enemy team tried to get me. I got the enemy team first. It's easy as that. And unfortunately, I ran out of targets here. Otherwise, it would have been even the pre-nerf Belgian F-16A. But I was only 3 kills short of that. Oh, and the reward for doing all this might be a bit smaller than you think because the skill bonus caps out at a certain point and I just quadrupled the limit. Anyways, in a second, you'll see the scoreboard. I'm going to be the guy at the top. I just world recorded top tier lobby 41 to 0. Jesus Christ. Anyways, like and comment to feed the algorithm, and remember, if you subscribe and ring the bell, you won't need to remember how to spell pay next time you want to watch one of my videos. Also, this video threw a monkey wrench in my schedule, and I might have to delay the MiG-23 video again.